Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're a comic episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's making bad decisions with me tonight? That's all I got.
Richard Sampson from the YouTube channel Rich Gale, and where I was seeing monsters, they were seeing salvation.
So we are here to cover something that I never even would have thought of. It wasn't for you introducing it to me at some point.
Yep.
We are here to talk about Aliens Outbreak Volume 1, or Alien Volume 1 Outbreak, something like that will be in the title, which is a Dark Horse comic that came out from July 1988 to July 1989, a 6-issue miniseries that kicked off the Alien run they did that is all miniseries for some reason.
Yeah, well, and I will say this. It originally, yes, it did come out in that time. It was known as Aliens Book 1 as a collected version, 1988. It was then novelized by Steve Perry into the book Aliens Book 1 Earth Hive, later reprinted with some changes as Outbreak. And then in more recent reprintings, they restored it. And we will get into that. This is a very, very historied series when you think about it.
This was something. So this is written by Mark Verheiden and penciled work by Mark A. Nelson and Ron Randall in the 6th issue, published by Dark Horse Comics. So I always start off my history. I didn't know this existed until we did that random Aliens comic earlier this Spooktober. And I was like, all right.
I was telling you about it back before even that, because when we covered the Alien and Aliens, I did mention them back then as well.
But I had little interest, to be fair. And it was, I just kind of wanted to do more Alien stuff. And I was like, and I was thinking about, like, hey, let's take a look at these comics that at the time were canon.
Yeah.
For a very short amount of time.
Yes, and when you think about anything that's outside the main source material, anything you can accept, like books, if you're talking a movie and you're writing books based off a movie, them being canon is as long as nothing else is produced after it to change anything.
Yes. It's fine with me, to be honest. Like, the way I look at these are a what-if story produced in that franchise when you only had Alien and Aliens. This is what could have happened. And honestly, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. This feels like what would have happened in reality.
Yeah, and of course, making it into a movie in the late 80s, early 90s like this, that would be a lot of work. It's also why the Alien versus Predator story took years and was in development hell for about a decade before they got it out.
It's too bad it didn't stay there in development hell.
I think for what they did for the movie is decent.
I have never been more disappointed at a movie than I was at that movie.
Yeah, I know. It was made, 2 R-rated franchises got kicked down to PG-13.
Oh, I know. I was there. Day one.
And the original story didn't even the original Aliens versus Predator story did not take place on Earth. But we can get to that when we finally get to that comic.
I wouldn't mind reading some of those other comics, to be completely honest. Like, that stuff does interest me, and there's a lot of other stuff with it interests me too. So we'll see. But
yeah.
So I did not even realize this is 13 years after Aliens happens.
Yes.
I did not realize that until I read a little synopsis right before we started talking, because I don't think the comic states that.
I think it can be assumed. And there's probably some information later in the comics, because I just reread this on Monday. But when you have your main characters being Newt and Hicks, and Newt is obviously older, you can assume that time has passed.
Oh, I knew time had passed, but I wanted it to say, like, give me a year. Like, it's been 10 years. It's been, and maybe it did, and I just didn't read it right. But I was just, and again, this is me being nitpicky.
Yeah, but, it's a very valid opening for it.
It's kind of a retelling of a bit of the movie Aliens from Newt's perspective as she's talking with a psychologist because she's in a mental ward.
Oh, yeah. Well, the story that she tells is more of the dream she had. And this is one of those dreams affecting you in a way, something either you're suppressing or you're putting off. I mean, let's face it, still nobody outside, I mean, company's going to cover its ass in its own way. And so, and this messed with her.
Well, it makes sense that she would have really bad PTSD after what happened. It does make
Yeah.
sense.
And she's having dreams. I mean, typical like this, the one that she tells. She and her friends have gone out. They are recreating the campfire from years past, from what they read up on, through data logs on Earth on disk, because that was the advanced technology that we had at the time. They do the whole ghost story thing, and then Newt in the dream tells about what she went through after being, not wanting to tell that one reluctantly. Yeah, because teenagers are assholes.
I mean, I do like some of that stuff. I feel like it is an interesting take to kind of show what she's going through. Like, and it's close to what the movie was. It's just Hicks saves her, and there's no Ripley. And if I remember correctly, Ripley saved her, but it doesn't matter.
Well, like I said, it's what the brain does when you're dreaming. It's going to take information in that you might have in your head already, turn it around, maybe make it more setting in the current day or a setting. I mean, obviously she's not a teenager. She's a teenager in these dreams.
Yes, where she wasn't in the...
Yeah, where she wasn't in the original. So, that's part of what's going on in the dream. I mean, let's face it. I mean, just like before we recorded the night before we recorded this, I had one doozy of a dream, which is telling me I got to get back to some of my writing. So...
Oh, I found it interesting. I like where Hicks is. Hicks is in prison. I think that's because it makes sense that both of them would not be okay after what they went through.
Yeah, well, Hicks was basically arrested for drunken disorderly charges.
Yes,
so
but that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's had one of those breaks too. He's still in the military, but he's basically a pariah. I mean, let's face it, he spent months in quarantine. So, and obviously, and I like how they hide this. They do a great job of hiding it. You don't see it until after he sees the log, and that's when you see that it's right after that, towards the end of the first issue, that you truly see what the one thing that you couldn't necessarily hide. And as a soldier, I can understand him not necessarily wanting to hide the scarring.
Yeah,
that's a badge of honor, even though the source is really messed up.
the ship that, because you see a ship that, they think the reason they bring him in because there was a ship that was coming in that had an explosion and it was carrying an alien for some reason. Did it land on that planet?
We don't know. We don't know that because
okay.
And if you would have seen the omnibus, and I don't know if it's in the original reprints or not, there is a little thing that was done detailing the life cycle, because I think the Arona that's mentioned in that little excerpt is the same one that's featured in this series, talking about the aliens, how on their home world they probably were not the apex predator. There was something else there to keep them in check. Not wipe them out, but keep their numbers in check. And of course, all it takes is one alien from another world to, get ideas, bring one aboard, and then we have all this.
Okay, that's what it felt like. I was just curious. I didn't really catch where they came from, so I was wondering if they mentioned that or not. But
yeah,
that's
and that's one of the things that makes a lot of people very disappointed in Prometheus and Covenant.
Oh no, I get it now. Like we'll talk about it later in this issue, or this episode. There was something like, oh, okay, I see where Prometheus kind of came from a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But what you got the space version of the Coast Guard, because nobody had thought up Space Force yet. And I roll my eyes on that one too. We're not ready for Space Force.
We don't really have Space Force. He just made a name because he's an idiot.
But, they send a little remote probe over, which is and it's like to prevent the ship from basically crashing down. And it says you basically lost, due to a mistake that happened before where the ship crashed on the planet. We lost major islands on Hawaii, one of the islands in Hawaii, and lost coffee. So, great tragedy for coffee drinkers. I'm not a coffee drinker. I could
and
care less.
like we talked a bit about it in the one miniseries that we covered, which is farther down the timeline. But you can see where an alien is that a live alien that came down. The guy is starting to
Yep.
worship. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right next. I mean, this is where the whole report. We see the alien again. People are surprised that this thing can survive in space.
Yeah.
So, a vacuum cannot destroy these things. It cannot stop them, which shows how dangerous they really are. And yes, we do get then you go into our religious nuts. He's being set up because they come up with a new system for, getting channels out there because, it's like, he says about 5,000 channels. Systems offering 500, then 1,000, and eventually 5,000 channels. It became economically infeasible for advertisers to support mainstream dramatic programming. And they
It has some interesting stuff. Like I always liked the future retro tech, I should say, of aliens, and I'm glad that this comic kept it. My only complaint with this comic, and this was a me mistake, is I read the black and white version.
Well, remember that that's that was the original.
I know.
That was the way to basically read it. It's only until like the second set that they start getting more colors. I mean, Dark Horse was in its early stages, I think, at the time.
Yeah, this is one of their early comics that made them a lot of money. Actually, when I was reading, like this, really got them going too.
Oh yeah, imagine what we'll run into if we ever tackle Mask.
Because this came out in 80. No, Dark Horse starts in 86. This came out in 88.
Yeah. So yeah, this is early stuff.
I mean, it's not like the first issue. It gives you some stuff with Hicks, and it gives you more stuff from the Aliens movie. They're like retelling of it, and then kind of shows what happened to him. And then I think it ends where is it the military or is this the Biocometic corporation that wants the alien? I can't remember which one it was.
Well, we'll get there. I mean, we went through the whole, the video projection, the true Messiah. So obviously people have found out about it on Earth somehow. And of
I can
course,
believe it.
Everything's going to be tying together if you've been paying attention. But yeah, we have another situation with Newt at the hospital, where we have one of her quote. They say about the one she's on about like she's averaging 50 switches a second or something, because that's how the TV channels work. They change and change with however your eye reacts.
I like that though. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. And of course, just as Newt's having a freak out, and they sort of have to drag her out, boom, we have the TV watcher lock it on with the ultimate communion with the Church of Immaculate Incubation.
This church stuff really made me think of Dead Space also.
I wonder if they got the idea from this.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dead Space is inspired a lot by Event Horizon. I wouldn't be surprised if this also inspired it too.
Yeah. And of course, then we go to the military facility where Hicks has been selected for this assignment after seeing the disc. And that's when you finally see the injuries. And this is the doctor. Get his name. Like where it says about the old slogan, the Marines want a few good men. Yeah, everybody believed that until you get into it.
Yeah, that's not true.
And you heard about Stevens, who we'll see more of later. And of course, the doctor. This man is what's behind, driving it. And says, "Do you've had experience in these matters?" Yes, sure, you could say that. And that's the beautiful reveal of how his face now looks. That is a beautiful reveal, and it just really tells you. And now, before we get any farther, when they did the quote re-release of this after the novelization, Hicks became Wilkes, and Newt became Billy. So
I get it, but...
And, I read the book before I ever got truly into the comics. So I was hunting down the comics and that. And I learned, of course, that the comics were originally Newt. Because when I first got my copy of the collection, it was still listed as Book 1. And then later reprint, it was Outbreak, and they changed the names. Again, this was responding to the release of Alien 3.
Yeah, I get that. Alien 3 made some special decisions.
Yeah, and, they had to come up with a way to at least still make it valid. So they got away with, quote, changing it from Newt to Billy and Hicks to Wilkes. And that's at least fixed the issues for this and the next one that follows. And then the third, towards the end of the second, release, then they had to come up with some reason. I don't know if they fully ever covered that in the books, but we'll get to that later.
That's not like in book 3 is when they had to change it.
Well, towards the end of book 2.
Oh, okay. That's when Alien 3 finally came out.
Well, when you have to do re-releases, it's like they have to. We're jumping ahead to the end of book 2. At the end of book 2, we have the reveal that Ripley shows up.
Oh, why you learned this for me from a book that came out, almost my entire life ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saying this is why I was trying to avoid that. But in book 3, Wilkes and Hicks are the main character. Newt and Hicks are the main character.
Okay.
I'm not going to go any more into that story.
I don't want you to. We will read it at some point because I'm going to read at least the first 3 of this. But I think, and then when you get to anything else to say about issue 1?
Well, let me see. He mentions the doctor mentions they mentioned that a civilian named Ripley and a young girl, no one from the mission survived, and he's like saying the girl has medical issues, which is why they didn't want to bring her in, and they can't locate Ripley. Of course, the doctor wants him on this mission. He's Dr. Arona. This is the one I believe that did, as I jump back to the beginning here. Yes. So this is the man that does the little prequel thing that was printed in an issue, Theory of Alien Propagation in Dark Horse Presents, looks like November 1988 yeah, I can't see it because the damn print's too small. So
it's hard to read. Like this was, I read a lot of comics, obviously, and this one was hard to read. I have to say that.
Well, that's the listing in the omnibus is what I'm referring to.
That's probably hard to read too. It's an older comic, and I don't know if this was actually released digitally or this was, somebody scanned it.
That's a hard call, I'll be honest.
Because that happens more than you think.
Trust me, I've got a few that I've downloaded digital copies of. So
yeah, it depends. Over time, sometimes like when they did it digitally, even then it was just a scan. Like it wasn't like what the original, not original, but later comics where it was made digitally and then kept digitally. So I want to bring us to issue 2. Issue 2 starts off fucking weird, where Newt's, I think, having a dream.
Oh yeah.
And you see a baby incubating in what looks like an alien hive.
Probably. I see. We skipped ahead because before that, Hicks comes to Newt to tell her he's going back out, and she wants him to take her with him.
Okay. So I was also confused reading this comic too because it jumps around a lot at first in the first couple of issues. I didn't really like it till later.
Yeah, well, they're trying to set everything up. The second one, yes, there's a baby incubating. Everything is reflecting on, it's replacing the mother figure. And you get, everything that's happening. Dreams are being caused. And of course, again, we have, Newt does not want to be left behind.
It makes perfect sense. You don't really have a great life here. Neither of them do. Like, she's in a mental ward. Hicks is getting ready for his mission, but, he's not happy with anything. I do like how, I think it's in this issue later on when you start getting introduced to the corporation, because the military is sent off to go get, they're sent to the home planet, right? Which is essentially the planet from Aliens?
No, this is a different planet from Aliens, different from Acheron.
Oh, because Aliens is like LV something, right?
LV-426, which later became known as Acheron, which is the name for the River of Pain in the Greek underworld.
Okay, so Acheron was okay. Because I was really confused. I'm like, where the hell did this planet come from? Because I could have swore the planet in Aliens is not Acheron.
That's what. Aliens. It was basically named Acheron. It started out as LV-426, Life Viable 426.
Good point. Not a real name.
Yeah, it's like going around saying we don't call Earth Terra or Sol 3. And then again, we would only call the sun Sol. If anybody else comes around, they'd call it whatever they call it from their planet. Because almost every star we have is named for constellation it's in and what position it is. Alpha Centauri.
Oh, fair enough.
And so.
Okay,
but
that makes sense.
We have Hicks starting in on the training of everything.
Well, just Marines you have, and I do like this. This is when you see some Marines in like some special outfits that
Mm-hmm.
I do like seeing this stuff because I feel like that would make sense. They had some kind of like some outfits to wear against aliens.
Yeah. And you have Hicks really taking this to heart about, making sure people are ready. Yes, they are supposed to study them, maybe even get try and capture one. But of course, Hicks is more, I want to get rid of them.
Well, I mean, Hicks understands
Yeah,
like
Hicks
what can
understands.
happen.
Yeah.
I mean, all it takes is you get a couple aliens on the planet and you're all fucked. So
Getting them
it
on
doesn't
the
take a whole
planet
lot.
and them getting loose.
Yeah.
And this is also where we also start seeing more of the difference between how drones that think and how the queens think.
And I do like that. It gives you a lot of interesting as this comic goes on. Like it was not really into the first, I think 3 issues. I think issue 4 where I started getting more interested. Like I read 1 a night, then I skipped a couple nights, and I read like 4, 5, and 6 all in like one sitting because then it started getting good for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. It builds. It's a slow build,
Slow burn.
which works very well because once you get the action going, you're going to want to stick with the action, but you have to have story to build up the action.
I also do like how Hicks gets Newts in this, where he goes to her mental ward and just breaks her out.
Oh yeah, and I like how you also start seeing certain things. Stevens is wondering about all the plasma rifles, and then he
I like
basically
that.
nixes them having them on there.
Yeah, and we find out why later on he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we see. I like how it goes from that to seeing 2 guys playing squash.
That part really amused me.
Yeah, and then you see it's actually 2 execs. Good match. Yeah, I almost worked up a sweat. And they talk about the project where they are trying to, government guys, they know about the mission. They know about the government's mission. They want to grab the life patent for themselves. Can't have that. Alien life forms are the next step in competitive biological weaponry. This was before we've learned the real dangers of that from Resident Evil.
Many years before.
We already got interest from Canada, Japan, Ireland. I'm like, why does Canada want weapons?
To fight America. I mean, this does take place after 2024.
Yeah, but this takes place long before any of this happened in 2024.
They predicted the future.
Well, then again, this is a very dystopian future to begin with.
Mm-hmm. We're in one right now, too.
So they contact a specialist, Massey. So he's going to be head of the corporate mission to basically hijack the military mission.
I do think that's a cool concept.
Well, yeah, the guy was court-martialed.
Yeah, but he did it. He's good. They hired him for a good mission.
Yeah.
And isn't this... Sorry, you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then we go into another dream.
Too many dreams in this. Like, it threw me off. I was like, I don't need all these dreams.
Yeah. Well, it's the point that the dream stuff is there. Because...
Didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. They're disturbing dreams.
They are. Probably worse in color.
Yeah. And, of course... Alien is becoming present. It's like replacing the mother figure in these dreams. And that's part of the key in this.
Oh, that's dreams that other people are having too, right? Because the alien is on the planet?
Yep. See, people don't know the alien's on the planet.
Oh, they will later.
Yeah. Newt is having the dreams. And people just think, the doctors think it's just her trauma acting up. But no, there's something they don't know about. And this also goes to Lovecraftian when you think about it, because if you've ever read or heard or read a version of The Call of Cthulhu,
I have not.
I recommend it's reading it. There's been a comic version. I have a comic version probably floating around here. One of the first parts of it tells about how people were having dreams about Cthulhu. It affected the creative minds. So this sort of is a link to that too, an inspiration. And it chose to show something's at play here. The old ones affected the dreams. The aliens are affecting the dreams. More specifically, this is not drone work. This is queen work.
And you find out a lot more about that soon.
Yep.
And I think this is also when you find out at the end of this comic that the alien that they had escaped.
No, not yet. I don't think.
But in the end of the issue, you do find out. There's some it does show some stuff. The alien escaped and impregnated somebody.
Well, we will see. I mean, we got then some of the Marines testing out, and you have to give Hicks credit. He is showing up. He's teaching him, and we also get to get introduced to another character that's going to be big through this series, and I think that was one name that they didn't change. And Hicks is training the new recruits, and basically they thought they were in the clear, and he pops up and surprises them.
I do like that. I mean, again, he understands what they're going up against, and they don't.
Yeah, and everybody, of course, blaming the one that's Butler. And he will become important later as we go through.
Oh, okay, I did not, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so going through the whole training, and then we go back with Newt, and they say they're going to have to, because she's an orphan, they don't really need anyone's permission to go ahead with something. So they're basically going to do an operation that will basically be like a lobotomy or something like that. And Hicks has somehow got a hold of that. So he does the downright smart thing, if you ask me. Gets her the hell out of there. And, of course, he's got the perfect he just goes in there, busts people up. No guns. He's a Marine. He doesn't really need a gun.
It's a good scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, drop your socks, kid. We're going for a ride. And she's already, med up for the situation. Using what's using what you have, basically remembering the adages from Apone. We're Marines. If you don't have what you need, you improvise, you adapt.
I mean, I guess they are Marines. We're going to find out a little bit more about that soon, though.
Yeah, well, it's only Hicks going in for Newt. He didn't get the others involved in that. I love this escape method.
That was cool, how he has like a ship waiting for him that jumps into a net. That was very cool.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been good, back with the World Trade Tower. I think he even mentioned the world. Yeah, it's like the jet rescue technology had been developed after the World Trade Center smoked in 24. They don't give you a century.
That one got me. I forgot about that line. I'm like, that line aged.
Yeah. Well, again.
I know. It's written long before then.
Yeah. Well, I was enjoying seeing some of the somebody streaming Tales from the Crypt Keeper, because some of them are set in New York City, and you get the skyline with the Twin Towers in it.
I always do like that in movies, when you have older movies. Like, oh.
Well, this was a cartoon series, Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, see what I know.
Yeah, so, it's like flip the remote, and we're at Mach 2 before the last piece of the plaster hits the ground level. I mean, how does people not hear the boom?
Or people just don't pay attention.
Yeah. And, of course, Hicks smuggles her on board, puts her in a minor cryotube, just for, keeping everybody secure when they go into space.
Space, the final frontier.
I like that. That's actually, and they explain that away too. The no longer need for cryotubes, which is a brilliant thing. So they get off the ship, and then we go back to our two executives. Hologram show, and we find out what we didn't have. It wasn't an escape. The kid and the mother found the top secret file that Massey was given.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, this is the wrong part, and then they murdered everybody because they knew too much.
They didn't. Massey did.
Oh yeah, he killed his own. Oh, that's what it was. He killed his own family to protect himself.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder how it feels being a sociopath. I mean, I would imagine it's quite liberating.
I mean, there's a few in prison you can ask. A few are still alive.
And then we get a quote. We have a list, something that happened, where we have everybody, the government ship left. Our chase ship K-014 launched in pursuit. Was twofold. It was first to follow the Benedict to the alien homeworld and gather biological data on the life form. Second, to inhibit the Benedict's crew from retrieving a viable test subject. He has carte blanche to work to the end. Now, in the interim, Binational Research Team continues its examination of the human specimen salvaged from the ejected pilot's pod of the cargo vessel Junket. That's the one that got blown up.
Okay.
So, an escape pod got out.
And infected.
That's
Dead Space.
Yep. Already seen someone infected. And
that's what happens in Dead Space. There's an escape pod that's ejected early in the mid-game that has an infected alien that comes back to play a part in why stuff that happens later on in that game, because They answer the escape pod with an affected.
Now, I want to point out when we're looking at this last page of that issue, note the face hugger.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay. Now, other face huggers don't have those spines on the back.
That I didn't notice.
That means that is supposed to be a queen face hugger. This is before they ever thought up a design in movies for that type of face hugger. This is one who's going to birth a queen. So they have this person already on the planet and they have them in the facility. And maybe this is the one that's already transmitting dreams. So they already have one here incubating. And that is a terrific point to close out issue 2 on. You agree?
I agree.
I got to make sure you're still with me. It's only you and I in here. So,
I am. I'm already on issue 3. I'm just waiting for us to get there. 3, is that another dream sequence where nothing makes sense at first?
Yeah.
Okay. Too many dreams in this. I mean, I know it makes sense, like you said, it's the queen, but it's too many fucking dreams.
I mean, obviously, with the caption saying patient Harriman.
I just got tired of the dreams. I didn't realize that the guy in this issue that's laying on the bed that they're like looking at and doing the X-rays of that has the alien was the guy from the escape pod that got infected.
Yeah.
I didn't realize who it was.
Yeah. And of course, when they're looking over these reports, I think that's Dr. O'Connor, they're all from within a 50-mile radius. Yeah, and I got dozens more just the same. Every patient rates sensitive on the Cryer scale. I'm guessing that's something that psychologists use to measure how receptive you are to thoughts or something like that.
That would make sense. I mean, I don't know, unfortunately, but
yeah, neither do
it
I.
sounds plausible.
Yeah. This should have been telling these other doctors that were looking at Newt, like, maybe there was something more going on and we were overlooking it.
Well, they just did what many doctors do in real life and went, oh, it's not, you're just a crazy woman.
Yeah. But this is also, like he even says, we've kept the existence of the alien creatures completely secret. All of a sudden, we are experiencing a wave of spontaneous telepathic events. Question is, why now? And why Earth?
Dun, dun, dun.
And that's when we focus on the gentleman who, it's after the face hugger has gotten off. They're in a facility. Obviously, they're taking appropriate measures to, stay uncontaminated. Of course, he's wondering why he's not dead.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even we saw it in Alien. They don't die right away after face hugging, and this is where they have the X-rays. And they're like, does the pilot know? And they're like, there's been some discussion on that point. Ethical questions have been raised regarding the, propriety of informing the subject considering the ultimate prognosis. And of course, they don't know what to tell. I mean, they have a unique, this is a scientist talking. This is one of those things that you have a chance to study, reactions and all that. But of course, reactions from the host could also be important. Do you tell him? Do you leave him in the dark? I mean, you don't get a situation like this. It's like you argue the ethical circumstances of it. I mean, keeping him quarantined is a very good idea. Not telling anybody maybe about his
problem.
Well, not telling his family about the situation. That's another thing. This is one of those things. It's like it's an ethical question that there is no good answer. I mean, studying a destructive life form like the alien from beginning to end, it means sacrificing a human being.
Yeah, they don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it's a corporation.
Yeah, I sometimes do some thought experiments in my head too, like how if there was a way to quote in the Harry Potter universe. If there was a way to combat the Cruciatus curse, how the hell do you test it out? How do you test out all aspects of that? Because it literally means invoking torture on a human being.
You find Umbridge and you test it on her. That's all.
But the thing is, what you would be trying to test is, does it matter how much heart goes into it? Yes, we know that. We've learned that. You have to mean it. And of course, how do you endure it? If you expect it to happen, well, yeah, if you can anticipate it happening, that's one thing. And you have to keep your body from staying alive. But it's like I said, it's the ethical thing.
So,
and here
I mean,
they don't
care about ethics. But like the goatee guy that we see here in one of the next scenes, that's that same with a pregnant woman, that's the same priest that wants to be impregnated for some reason.
Yep. It's like he envies a pregnant woman for that.
I've seen what they go through. You shouldn't envy them.
Yeah. And then, of course, the guy who set up the channel for him, he's being questioned by the government.
Which makes perfect sense.
Which means now they're trying to find out what's going on. How are people finding out about the alien in their dreams? So yeah, this is actually the first time the guy really sees an image of the alien. And he's like, what the hell is that thing? And he's told, the Messiah, the Immaculate Incubation, God.
I feel like Dead Space took a lot from these comics and just nobody knew. Or people knew, but not like, overall.
Yeah, it could. And it could. They, like I said, they very well could have. This is the religion. This is how a cult is formed. This is how a cult becomes dangerous.
Oh, I'm already aware of how cults can become very dangerous.
Yeah. So, he doesn't necessarily want to believe because as of right now, all he thinks is this is something going on. He doesn't think the alien's real at this point. And that makes a lot of sense. He's a technician. He's only doing what he got paid to do. And of course, we will see what happens with him later. Because after, because Priest wants those broadcasts to continue. He's got to get
That's not
followers.
surprising.
And then we have back to the ship, to the mission, where we're learning everything. It's like
So this is before it shows what Newt is getting comfortable with one of the people, right? That's not in
this
here.
Is before that. This is actually this is Massey's ship. Haven't had any communications from their sources on the Benedict, which is something that tells you that there's somebody on the ship that's relaying things, but you don't know who at this point.
Okay. And did someone killed somebody on one of the ships? That was on the military ship, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's after because you now have at the point that Hicks pulled Newt out of the spare cargo locks, after living.
Oh, yeah, they're all pissed off.
Yeah, he's like, looks like the drugs were wearing off. Of course, Stevens took it as well as expected. I was told him you were unreliable, but this is insanity. What the hell were you thinking? I offer no excuse, sir. I did No excuse? Oh, that's very manly. Maybe you could try an explanation. If not for me, then for the men. Explain why you brought extra weight onto a carefully balanced gravity drive ship. And of course, Newt tries to pipe up. It's not his fault. He did it for me. I understand now. It's not his fault. You forced him to stow you aboard. Forced him to jeopardize the mission. Leave her out of it. I love that. It's my responsibility. I dumped 104 pounds of that raspberry-flavored shit from the ship's stores just before we took off. And love Butler's remark. I love that. I liked that raspberry-flavored shit. Shut up, Butler. And it's like, Stevens like, I should lock your ass up. And I'm like, I'm sure the military court would be interested in hearing how a top-secret military vessel left base without a thorough inspection by the commanding officer, sir.
I did like that part. So there's a quick scene here of somebody blowing up. What was that?
Okay, you have one of the people one of the Marines doing their typical, they're doing their duty. Walkthrough, I got walkthrough, keep my seat warm. He's doing a walkthrough inspection.
Okay.
And that's when he comes across, whomever it is that's betraying the mission, where he gets knocked out, taken to the airlock, put in a pressure suit with a nice little grenade. The airlock is tripped, sent out and goes kerblooey. And
I was a little confused at what happened. There were multiple times where I was kind of confused what was going on in this book.
Yeah. Now, this was done for obvious reasons. They were discovered. They could not allow anything like that, but now this is going to escalate tension on the ship and lighten the load. And then with that nice blinding flash, we go back to our, our guy with the chest burster in him. And I gotta love how this one was done, where he acts like he steals one of the guy's guns, shoots his way out.
I like it too.
Yeah.
And it's all a dream.
Yeah, makes his way to his wife and all that. And that's when, just as he stops them and all that, we start seeing, the alien in there. And then we get back to reality, stops him from reaching for the gun, and the chest burster comes out. And of course, we have one doctor who wants the experience of seeing it firsthand. goes in there.
I like this though.
Yeah. And it's like, guy's
Kinda
conscious
fun.
enough to know what's happening. And of course, brings the guy down. And Chestburster goes into him. He goes ape shit, and of course they kill him before he can get out the door. They keep the alien and get it back inside that incubation chamber.
For now.
Or that chamber. But and I think this might have also inspired a scene in Alien Resurrection.
I have no memory of that movie.
Okay.
I've seen it once.
Yeah, I've
but I don't
rewatched
remember
it in
anything about it.
recent years, but one of a guy that was smuggled to a military ship has an alien inside him, and of course, they're trying to escape the aliens breaking free on the military ship. Of course, the doctor is not wanting them to get away because he's a bastard, and of course, the injured guy, the guy who has the chest burster, it's starting to break its way out. So what he does, he grabs the doctor, holds him tight to his chest from behind, because, doctor has the gun and was shooting
Doesn't work out very well.
And then the chest burster goes out of the guy and goes through the doctor. So, that's perfect justice. But
Yeah.
this I can see how this sort of played into that, You want it so bad, here, But that is, again, a terrific way to end issue 3. And then things really start heating up from this point on, because we open with issue 4.
So issue 4 confused me a little. Well, I was confused a lot. Who is the guy on the table? That's
the guy who set up the channel.
Okay, he got captured?
He got caught.
Okay.
And he's been declared a terrorist, so
also torturing him.
Yeah, to find out what the hell was going on. I mean, let's face it, the guy is basically not going to be able to tell, he's like, they want information. They want to be guaranteed information. And we know how people don't like to talk when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, but they have ways of making you talk.
Yeah. And of course, we also know how necessarily reliable torture is, because if somebody doesn't want to talk or doesn't have anything to confess, they'll still confess to end the torture.
Oh, you know how they found out there were massive weapons of destruction in Iraq?
They
tortured a guy who just said, yeah, I would tell them anything so they would stop.
Yeah.
That's where that came from, by the way. That was found out later.
Fun fact. They don't use probes to read minds. And I just like how they are just making it able for him to watch it.
I mean, that's got to be even worse, though.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, you won't feel anything until they stop the spinal tap. Then you'll warm up slowly. And
so,
of course...
Did an alien escape? Because after a little bit, they show a queen. I was very confused what was going on here.
Okay, we'll get to that. I mean, here you get everything where the story of everything he found out. When he finally, finds out the truth. He goes to work at on another item. So, he claims, I think he claimed the video link was down or some crystal, so he's there to fix it. Yeah, he was actually at the company that had the alien. So he was actually called for routine work. And as he's doing the fixing and all that, he notices an old security type thing. Don't know why he burned them, curiosity, and that's where he sees the images of the alien queen they have in their facility. So he learns they're real. He didn't believe they were real. So in all essence, he was just a guy doing the job, wrong place, wrong time. But, and he sees, they have, he's getting all the information they see where the alien, you see the doctor that was foolish, sort of hanging there. They keep him. He's like, you didn't die in vain. You've been thrilled with the progress. Because creature they captured this is where they find out it was a queen. They fully find out.
So that's what I was looking at when I see the queen.
Yep. So she's being, viewed, and that changed things. Because it's already providing eggs.
Where is this queen at? Is this in the corporation?
Yeah. Because they want to get they wanted to get all the corporate rights. So now they really don't need the mission at this time. But because now they can really study things, I mean, they can't see, there's no sign of traditional, reproduction. I mean, she started laying eggs right away. It's like a tribble, born pregnant.
Good reference there, sir. Good reference.
Yeah. So basically, all these eggs are going to be future subjects. But the question is, where are they going to get them? And of course, our organics weapon program is going to revolutionize the industry. So that's what this is what this guy's seeing for the first time, that they're real. And then we go back to the ship, and basically we start seeing, we see Newt basically looking out one of the viewports, staring into space, the light from the stars stretched around the ship. I love that description. And it's like I think that's Butler now.
Yeah, that's Butler, the guy
Yeah, he
that's showing
comes in,
interest
he
in her.
explains it too. Yeah. Gravity drive so powerful we're bending the light. You get used to it. Beats the hell out of hibernation, which I can appreciate that.
Same.
And the Marines have accepted her very well. Butler a little bit more so. And of course, Newt's explaining things, and of course, one of the Marines goes a little off the line. You know what? Even if I weren't to quote fancy Newt, which younger me would have fancied Newt, older me, she's a dog.
Well, there's a difference. I
But
get it.
even I'd knock the shit out of the guy, hinting that they were sleeping around.
I do like this stuff. I think this is good to show her having closeness to somebody after everything she's went through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good scenes between them that they have in this issue.
Oh yeah. It shows the forming of a relationship. I love that. I do love that.
And she deserved it. After everything she's been through, she really deserves that.
Yeah. And Hicks is acting like a father. And that is mainly because he knows something she doesn't know. And of course, actually, it gets revealed later. I mean, he's your typical he's acting like your typical father when it comes to he looks at Newt like a daughter. He doesn't want her to get hurt. No father wants to see their daughter get hurt in any way.
They don't.
I mean, for all this that we go about, hyping up about how men, when we were younger, that we're boys and we're men, we could do what, score with women. When you become a father, that changes a lot.
It should. Doesn't affect everybody, but it should.
I know. No father should look at his daughter as a sexual object. End of discussion. I mean, I sat because my car was in the shop. We had to go pick up my daughter from college the other day before, and my father showing he still looks, and I'm like, I really can't look at a girl in that way, especially at the college, because that's where my daughter's going. This could be
and the age difference is too much. I'm the same way. Like if I'm like, nope, there's a certain level. Like I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be looking. Let's move on. I get it.
But it's nice to see that Newt has found someone, and while Hicks. She's viewing Hicks's actions like he's so full of the hatred that his life's been destroyed. He only has revenge left. And that may be true. That's a big thing, but it's not everything for him. I mean, I see, and this is, of course, we've read it. We know what's coming.
Yes.
But when you look at it, not knowing what's coming, there's that father instinct in him for Newt. And sort of feeling so bad that she was stuck in that hospital for 13 years, almost lobotomized.
Very close.
Yeah. And of course, then we go back to our friend, the channel setup, and you learn more of his story. He was trying to find out. Of course, he puts off work because he wants to find out the truth, because he saw it was real. And of course, he's like the priest. I was like, no. And this is where we see, this is true believers being brainwashed. They drank the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid was laced with poison. No. They see, the channel operator, where I was seeing monsters, they were seeing salvation. And this is what any cult leader can do. And this is where things start going to hell.
Oh, things get. I didn't realize this is. I forgot by the time I read 5 and 6. I think I skipped a couple days after this one, because the next part that you see is the priest leads an army, or not the. I guess he's a priest, whoever the fuck he is. He leads an army to the corporation.
Yep.
And they break in and they get to the Queen alien.
Yep. And they have.
And he gets what he deserves.
And she's a suicide bomber. And of course, they can't call in the police to help them.
No, because what they're doing is illegal. They know it.
Mm-hmm. They have to take it in-house with people who aren't trained to handle a following of this number. They are outnumbered. And when you got cultists who won't stop with a sheer number that they've gotten, you don't have enough ammo. You aren't Ezio fighting off hordes of Templars. You are not Altair fighting off forces of Templars galore. No, you are dumb schmucks with no plot armor fighting off cultists with minor plot armor. You are fucked.
And doesn't work out very well for them. And I think this is when they just start, everyone just starts getting infected, correct? Is what I'm seeing on here?
Yep, because that is what God wants.
Yeah. I don't think that's how that works. But all right, we can believe that.
And of course, gotta love it. The one that gets the priest is a queen face hugger.
Oh yeah, because it has a different style of body.
Yep. Others get regular face huggers because they are now her children.
Yeah, they're all fucked.
And when the guards, of course, try to, they think these cultists are trying to kill their queen, the queen they have. No, queen is his. He shoots. Uh-oh, queen does not like it.
The queen takes care of him.
Oh, yeah. It's like, you don't understand. I never hurt you. I'd never hurt you. You're all I have left. And he gets face hugged.
I don't know what these people thought was going to happen, so.
Well, for them, this is what God wanted. This is what they believe. And of course, queen doesn't stop them from taking them away.
Queen don't give a shit.
No, this is what the queen wanted. To spread the hive.
I mean, it spreads a lot farther than I expected.
Yeah, not as far. Having read the book first, yeah, it spread as far as I figured.
I did not expect where it goes in the next in the next two issues. I was shocked.
Yeah, and so, well, of course, we look farther down the line, and I said this is after. That's way after these events.
Oh yeah, because we jumped in middle, so it was a while later.
Yeah, I had picked that. I told you that one because I had a copy of it. I actually still had a physical copy of it, and that I still love that I have that one. Of course, we then have the end of the tale told by the channel technician. He's dead. Everything's sent off to organs banks, and whatever was left of his stomach, they'll burn. They burn the rest. But they now know they have a situation. As even the doctor says, if any of the newborn escape, if any of them are queens, God help us all. And they go with the information. Alien gestation takes anywhere from 72 hours to a week or more. So they have a time limit that they don't know how long they got.
And then it jumps back to the ship where where Hicks and Newt are on. This is where you have Newt sleeps with Butler, I think.
Yep, Butler.
So, and then
I lent this book to my one cousin, the booklet version of it, the novel version. He read it before I did. And I'm thinking, it's only aliens. There's not going to be anything too controversial in it, I don't think. Then I read that scene like, oh, man, if he relays that. Because cousin that read it was 8 years younger than me.
So the killing was okay, but not the sex?
Well, he was about 10 or 11.
You won't know what's happening.
Yeah, well, he's got an older brother. He had an older brother and a younger sister. I think.
Then he might know. Okay, I didn't I want to say when I was 10, I would not have been. I would have been more unaware of stuff. So. And
then they also were they were more Catholic than they were when he was born. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So now.
Okay, and this is when Macy attacks or lands on the ship because you find out one of the people on the ship is a traitor. Stevens is.
Yep, Stevens is the traitor. And of course, the one person sees something coming. Perhaps it's the debris. No way, sir. It's changing course following us. It's some sort of ship. I'll send General. Bam. No, quite.
And I do you find out that all the weapons are missing ammo because he took out the loaders or something.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, so, and Butler is probably thinking the same thing as Hicks to keep Newt safe, keep Newt out of the fray, because this is not a drill, this is real. And yeah, they find all the weapons have been damaged or shorted, and Stevens calls everyone to the loading bay, because, boom, this has been pre-designed. And I think one of the few times that I appreciate the psychopath, the sociopath,
Why is
He
that?
does not like traitors.
Oh, he kills Steven, doesn't he?
Yep.
He had it
That
coming.
just and that's a perfect way to end it. But of course, the whole thing does get witnessed.
I do like how, I mean, and again, it makes sense because Newt wasn't on the on the list, so they weren't expecting her, so they have no idea she's there. So like, yeah, we found everybody, we're good to go. When she's able to then, as you see in issue 5, she helps free them.
Yep, and of course, it starts off with her planning and doing the thing that Newt does best.
Crawl through.
Yep, and learning things. And of course, Macy has a terrific plan, which he stated at the end of the prior issue. The Marines are going to go down and they're going to be bait. And
yeah, because they always got to go state their plan. Does Macy know that they're all androids?
Nope, nobody knows.
Okay.
Only Stevens and Hicks knew.
Stevens don't know anymore.
Stevens was actually trying to tell him that when he shut him up and then killed him. Nobody, like I said, the only two who know they're androids were Stevens and Hicks. Newt doesn't know. Butler didn't know. None of the Marines on there knew that they were androids. And that's basically revealed. I don't know if it's not in this one, it's in the next issue, but this is where this gets revealed. It now makes sense why Hicks was trying not to let Newt get too attached.
Yes, because he knew, but he couldn't tell her.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even know.
Yeah. And it was basically because of their how they socialized.
I think we will get there. So I mean, we are going to get there someday with AI at the rate we're going. So I would not be surprised.
Well, I think I read something that one AI did try and kill someone because they talked about turning it off.
It did something, yes. I forget. It didn't try to kill them, but it lied to them or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically it makes sense. I mean, you're talking about a new sentient life form, and you want to kill it, and we saw, we got a feel for what that is in Soma.
Oh yeah, that was a good game. I forgot you were on that.
Yeah.
Forgot we did it, to be honest, too. So
yeah, that was last year. People look it up.
A long time ago.
Soma.
And they can just search Soma, they'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember when the episode was myself because it was so long ago and all that. But it was a good episode. Go check it out. It was episode.
I'm working on it too.
Yeah, I'm going through my list here and
$2.99.
Yeah, $2.99 before the big 300.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go check it out. That's a good
game.
episode. We have a very philosophical discussion too with it.
We did. So I do like this. You have Newt kind of sneaking around as they're getting the rest of the Marines to go on the drop ship because he's going to essentially use them as bait to go hunt the aliens. So I do like all this stuff where they're like, oh, the aliens are ground based, and you have the hijackers are in like little aircraft things, hovercraft, let's say.
Yeah, and they basically, even they are having trouble with it. It's like, but I don't like this while they're on the hover vehicles. It's like crap like things attached to a host, they go dormant, we pick them up, we go home, no problem. And all the aliens are ground based. But they don't, if this is truly the home world, if it is.
And this is the same planet, right? This is LV-426 or whatever?
No, this is not LV-426. This is
When did they find this planet?
This was through whatever records they gathered from that ship that went kablooey early on.
Oh, it landed on this island, on this planet, then got infected. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah. So, and we go back to Newt going around, getting weaponry, loading it up. Hey, she may remember that from seeing it being done, somehow have seen it done as a kid. So.
Yeah, sure, that stuff will stay with you.
And I am of the belief that when it comes to basic guns and all that, you need a license to be able to legally operate it, but anybody can see how to load a gun, figure it out if you have enough brains, and how to use a gun.
Asking a lot for some people, but yes.
But of course, then we jump back and forth between the ship and the alien on the alien homeworld. Because, they are still watching the Marines. Marines, no sides anymore, just money, and we're expendable. That's been always an overlying tone with this series. Expendability. And of course, we also have, the Mercs are watching over this. And they're watching the Marines go right into the ship, into the hive. And this is also where you start seeing signs that the Marines are not human, but they're puzzled.
I do like that. I was confused too when that's first revealed.
Yeah, because, they're going by eggs, and the eggs aren't opening. And even Massey somehow is trying to figure out what's going on. He's, like you said, he didn't get any of that information. And this is where we see that the mercenaries, again, went in with no information.
Uh-huh.
They assumed that this was this. Here you have natural predators for the aliens that keep them in check. You have creatures that can attack. And of course, this means that all the mercenaries get knocked to the ground by these flying creatures.
I did think that was cool. Okay, that makes more sense. I was confused because I thought this was LV planet, not this.
Yeah.
So which makes sense. Wasn't that? Yeah, that planet kind of blew up with that nuclear bomb. So.
No, LV-426, the reactor went kablooey. But remember that they even Ripley said in the movie they weren't native to the planet.
Yeah, but that's why I was confused, but I did not put two and two together, so thank you.
Yeah.
You filled the hole.
So this is somewhere where the aliens have gotten to. So they assume it's the home world. And of course, the mercs go into the hive, gain protection from this other alien threat. And they're like, why did we go in here? This is where they bleed, and boom, face huggers, aliens, everybody's coming out of the woodwork.
That is a good scene, though.
Yep. And of course, the Marines are finding a way out. They hear something happening. What's that noise? Sounds like gunfire, but they've gotten out. They go to the lander because if there's gunfire, they're going to need to get guns. And of course, we then jump back to Newt, who's checking around the ship, getting to Steven's quarters and loading up her gun.
I do like how she knew, yeah, he's too much of an asshole. He wouldn't have actually gotten rid of them.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
Massey was looking around, and he's like, he's surprised by how things are playing out. The Marines are good, getting away from the hive, overpowering my people. He doesn't realize what's going on. He's not necessarily getting full information.
No, which makes perfect sense. But he doesn't have all the information that he should have.
Yeah, but he has set the remote lander to blow up. Well, destruction of the inboard documentation, but they'll get over it. What about your men? What about them? My principal objective was to keep the government from securing an alien specimen. Mission accomplished. And that's when Newt shows up.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and Newt has been trying to make herself in the thought process of the alien. Survive, kill, survive. But she does not have the soldier mentality there. She lets him talk. She doesn't shoot, which,
it doesn't work out too great.
Not at first. It wasn't fair. She wanted to be just like them, but she was only human. She backs up, trips. Massey tries to make a move, tries to kill her. Doesn't need weapons to kill, but he grabs the gun. He's about Ray, and he's like, says, you remind me of my wife. Nothing but a distraction. Where Hicks basically knocks him out, knocks him aside, allowing Newt to escape. Hicks like, run. And she's like, I'm through running. And she actually does shoot him. I was wrong. I wasn't like the alien. Nothing truly human could stand such emptiness. She thought of Butler, she thought of her love, and she shoots Macy dead.
He deserved it.
Yeah. It's like, even Macy's like, you don't even have the strength to deserved it.
And this is when then Hicks gets into a drop ship and goes back to go rescue the Marines. Even though they're not human, he still wants to save them.
Yeah, he and her both go into a drop ship.
Okay.
And they find out Butler, and they have to go back. They're going back to try and rescue the humans because it's in their nature.
They're following what they were designed to do, though, too, so.
Yeah, even though they don't fully understand it. She's like trying to speak reason. Don't. Stevens was a traitor. Those men were going to kill you.
Yeah, there's no Stevenson has got what he deserved tenfold.
Yeah, but they do agree to go down and get them. So they head down. And so now you have the Marines with guns going in to fight. And they fight. They conserve fire. They're doing everything they can. They're doing what Marines tend to do.
Shoot first.
Yeah. The Merc is like, the rest are dead. Burn these alien bastards and back out. Maybe one or two of us will actually make it in one piece.
Yeah.
And it's about this time when the lesson gets learned. And it's Butler who gets it. And it's like, you're getting Newt's point of view. It knew. I think it wanted to teach me a lesson about the futility of love, the horror of trust. I could see it all. And he gets ripped in half, and she sees that he's an android.
That's a good scene, because even though I'm reading this in black and white, unfortunately, like, they did a good job. Like, you can see, you can tell that's an android from the Alien franchise.
Yep. And the others are surprised he's still alive. And
androids can take a lot. Movies have showed us that.
And I can understand Newt's pain there. Even though Butler is technically not dead, that loss tears at you.
Yeah, because she loved him, you know, or at least, she's had her first human connection, and turns out, he ain't human.
Then again, what does that necessarily mean?
In this world, I would say it doesn't mean a lot.
I mean, we're not going to have propagation, but...
Yeah, you need it. It's okay.
But this is this is where, Hicks was telling. Why you think they went back in there? Their principal function is to preserve human life. They were engineered just for this mission. Spent their whole lives locked inside the marine compound waiting for this moment. Cost efficient, and expendable. You, me, Stevens, were the only humans on board. And he says there were interaction problems with earlier models. Humans just didn't like them. So these prototypes were designed to socialize. They eat like us, talk like us. Damn programmers were almost too clever. The androids developed sensitivities. There were questions about their emotional stability, how they'd react to the truth. And so they were treated as equals, which, god damn it, that's how they should have been treated.
Yeah, but humans are assholes.
Yeah, it's like I said something like this when I talked about the last two Leisure Suit Larry games. Larry comes from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s thought process, been out of commission until nowadays. He's given a phone with an AI in it. And he's your typical person from the 80s now in the modern day, fascinated by why are people all staring at these boxes. He's treating the AI basically as another person who's getting him up to date on things, even though there's a part of him really does know this is an AI. This is not a human being, but he's treating it like a human being, like you would talk to a friend.
Yeah, I mean, we get robots, we get to that point. I'd be the kind of person that would thank them. Like, even though it's a robot, I still would thank it if it has enough to, be polite. I don't care. Like, I wouldn't be the guy beating it up, like, oh, fuck you, robot, like, you're just a robot. Well, that's fine. I'm a human. It doesn't make me any better. Who cares? But
yeah. And this is where, of course, Hicks tells Newt that Stevens was actually trying to tell those bastards before they killed him. Aliens need living tissue to incubate.
I know the aliens know, though. The aliens aren't fools.
Yeah.
They still rip them apart, but they know they can't impregnate them.
Yeah, well, this is why Bishop in the second movie had that ability to go around and not be threatened because he was an alien. Yeah. I mean, he was an android. I don't know, though, if that happens if the androids have gotten sophisticated enough by Alien Resurrection to fool the alien.
We'll find out at some point.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
All I know is Sigourney Weaver's in it and Winona Ryder's in it. That's about all I remembered.
Yeah. But of course, the surviving Marines get to the drop ship, and Hicks Hicks wants to set the warheads. He wants to blow them up, thinking we blow them up, they're gone for good.
Which is the right decision, if you ask me.
Yeah, but of course, the aliens now are trying to overrun the drop ship. And so, they're trying to fight the thing off. Butler doesn't even want Newt to look at him, which that's understandable for someone who's been in something like that.
Well, also it's shame.
Shame, fear that she won't love him anymore, wants to remember before he was ripped apart, before reality took all that away. But, as the aliens are, trying to get into the drop ship, it's like, I'll die before I save it for the rest of us. And if they don't, it's like, save it for the rest of us. I'll die before I let them touch me as...
I mean, I would be the exact same way. I've always said if there ever was a zombie outbreak, you save that last bullet for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing like this. Like, you save that bullet. Like, you get the fuck out. You don't wait. You don't stick around.
Yep.
And be their food.
And then it happens. They get saved.
This threw me for a loop.
Yep. This is this is what the space jockey was supposed to be.
Oh,
See,
okay.
that's another reason why, the thought that the engineers were the space jockey, that's why it doesn't fly for some of us.
No, that makes perfect sense. Because a lot of people complain. I never knew that the space jockey was here, like that was in this comic.
Yeah.
This really did throw me for a line when I saw it. I was like, oh, I knew that's what they were going for. I was pretty sure that's what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And it works.
Yep. And that's when we get into the final chapter. And we basically, it had dead eyes, which is how it looks. Seeing and not seeing. It destroyed the aliens, but not us. Never for us. And why? Doesn't speak, but it sent messages telepathically to Newt because she is sensitive to it, apparently.
And that looks painful as fuck for her, too.
Yeah, well, what it sends is primal instinct, hunger, pain, fear, hatred. This is not nice stuff it's sending. Where you get a recap of what happened during the extended scenes in Alien.
Oh yeah, because you get the stuff with her father and how he got infected. I did like this, and I thought about, and I think I said during that episode, but still, like that was a deleted scene that I wouldn't have minded having some of those deleted scenes to stay in. But
yeah, and this is again where you see the space jockey, because they go into that ship, get the idea. It's a grotesque form of empathy. She's like, Hicks is like, what's it doing to you? She's like, it wants me to know. Where we get, even one of its kind got basically face hugged, and the cargo vessel, and of course it lost its way and got crashed on the planet, apparently killing it. Well, we never know what happened to that particular alien. We never did see where that one went.
We never get more information than that.
And Newt concludes that it's this alien's friend. That was the one that was on that derelict. Well, since this is not a threat and it's protecting them, apparently, the Marines fix the ship. She looks at the dead xenomorph. She's like, this is offering us some kind of hope. And then she wonders, like, maybe evil is the only universal truth.
Because they don't know what happened to Earth while they've been gone, correct?
No, they don't. They do not know.
Oh, no,
and this is where we start seeing Arona tracking a message and creating one, basically detailing what's been happening on Earth. It's like he's like, I've lost track of the time since the binational attack. He's barricaded himself in his office to give him time to prepare his final report. And this is where we start getting more of the known lore. The Queen is able to communicate in some subconscious fashion with other species. Human beings, these manifested themselves in the form of the pattern nightmares. The dreams were a lure. At first we thought we'd be able to contain the spore infestation, and it was limited to a narrow geographic range. And for every cluster they found, there were 10 more just like it.
I do like this. I was really surprised the comic went there, to where it's like, yeah, the aliens are winning.
Yeah. The subconscious bait, it basically lures people in. And when they find another nest area, they start finding queens that were now viable and creating more. It's like he was using their experiment as a baseline. He assumed they still had a time before any new queens would become viable. I was wrong. The most important words that any scientist can say, I was wrong. The most important words that politicians hate to say, was wrong. And I love.
Apparently, they don't say it; they just blame someone else.
Yeah, it shows. You get a page, lovely, beautiful picture. Guy on an airplane, on a beach.
I like this panel, or these couple panels.
The mother coming, an old lady coming to see her family, and then boom, boom, boom. Chest burster on the plane, chest burster on the beach, chest burster in front of the family. And it's like,
it makes sense.
It was a geographic perfection to the infestations. Each queen would lay still more queens, and with every generation, the spore became more entrenched, more. And here's the thud. Yep. Military law had to go over. Test centers set up. And even then, within days, that changed. Trying to use the pretext of an alien infection to eliminate political dissidents, the poor, the disaffected.
That would happen.
Yep.
No question on that one.
Such petty rivalries even matter. Vital services began to fail. Yeah, when they break into a service and you start shooting them and acid blood goes everywhere, yeah.
Everybody start getting infected.
And it's like, I love these last few lines here. Like, from all I've come to understand something about humanity. Man is an animal, driven by animal passion. Civilization is a pathetic charade of manners, predicated on a tissue-thin veil of lies. In the future, if there is a future, historians may blame our failures on some external cause. The aliens, bionational, fate. I know the truth. Those things didn't destroy us. We did.
I was really surprised where this first comic goes, because like when I was reading this, I'm like, they're fucked. Earth is fucked. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
it was not what I expected from the first miniseries.
Yeah. And this is where the military also starts to show some smarts, because they've organized off-world ships to evacuate vital personnel to the outer colonies. So there are other colonies. There is off-world colonies, so humankind still exists.
It's not doing great.
Yeah. He's chosen to remain behind. We made the mistake of perceiving the aliens as sentient warriors. Finally realized the truth. They're disease, cancer. Yeah, my mother died of cancer. Odd how I've been thinking of her. You know, and this is basically, he's telling us what we've really done, how we screwed up. And this
Oh, we screwed up, all right.
And as the ship is getting back to Earth, they're seeing this last transmission. And of course, it's towards the end of the transmission that the alien comes in and he doesn't really
I do
matter,
like
does
that,
it?
though.
Yeah, never actually fired one of these things. One of these, I feel rather foolish, and he shoots himself.
The alien destroys the hive.
But they create more hives. They take over. They do go back. Well, they see it from the planet. And Hicks is like, we're helpless. No, you're right, we're helpless. It's not. Pointing to the jockey, and so they head back. Using the gravity drive, and we have another moment between Butler and Newt. She wants to know if what they had was real. Yeah,
I feel like for him, yeah. Close as it could be.
and that's for her too. Hicks said it was programming, part of some socializing process. You believed you were human because it was easier. But that doesn't explain what happened between us. It can't. Which, this is where it lies into it, where we are, our talks of it, where AI in essence lies too. When we start to form feelings, stuff that we can't necessarily explain with a binary code.
Yeah.
Sentience breeds emotion.
And that's what makes this part good, because I would say it's kind of realistic. I mean, as we do have AI, and if we had androids or things like this, like, they're going to pick up on human tendencies. Sure, it's manufactured, but technically we're manufactured too in our own way.
Yeah.
Just because we're biologically manufactured, we're still manufactured.
Indeed. And the kind of love that's there, this is the same kind of love that a married couple or two people who love each other have. There's no explanation for it. We will go to great lengths to protect the ones we love.
Yeah.
We will accept them, flaws and all. And you tell a true love for a person is that you cannot picture your life without them. And that's a pain I know too well. Accept them for all their faults. And love is much more powerful than hate.
And
Hate is easy. Love is hard.
And you just have a little bit more where after Butler dies, like, they pretty much, they think Earth, like, I think their plan is to nuke Earth, right? And then start over eventually.
Well, that is in essence the plan. Now, here's the thing. Butler is not dead.
I guess he's a robot, so.
Yeah. They get back to Earth. They manage to land and talk. Benedict. They hear the Benedict is like, they're like, grant permission for landing. I'll meet them at the pad personally. And the general basically tells them, they take the androids, take the synthetics to rehab. We'll deal with them later. We find out what that means. One of the bionational executives told us about Stevens after all the shit came down. You won't have to worry about those bastards any. Damn it, listen to me. Arona transmitted a message about the detonation just before he died. You have to stop it.
Wait, because they were just going to recycle. They just recycle all the androids pretty much, right?
That was their plan. And they say there may be another way. And, of course, the general's like, yeah, we suspected the existence of other sentient beings since the Nostromo mission. It doesn't change things. The aliens have won, Corporal. Basic military tactics. When you're outgunned, you retreat and leave nothing for your enemy. Of course, nuking doesn't necessarily mean that it'll kill all the aliens.
No, you don't know what they can survive. They can live out in space, so.
Yeah. It's like there's a chance. It's like they don't want to stop it. Even Newt can pick up they don't want to stop the nuclear weapons. It's
Not
only a matter of
surprising.
time before the aliens overrun us. We've got to deal with the reality of the situation. Arona understood the alien attack isn't evil, it's opportunity. You know, the Earth's been on the brink of destruction for decades. No discipline, no order. They only exasperated the situation. It would have come sooner or later. As they see, it's a chance to clean the slate and start it again. You know, survivors can return and terraform Earth into something beautiful again.
Cool concept when they go with this, so.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Even Newt realizes the aliens didn't destroy. It's like she's the first time she laughed, but now they're getting inside. You know, you did what you thought was right. It's time for military protocol and they're long past. Get the hell out. They're like everyone else still on Earth, unnecessary. Well,
Because the Earth is pretty much fucked at this point, so.
yep. Hicks is determined not to give him the pleasure. Neither is Newt. He's like, I smuggled you aboard the Benedict, and if I've learned one thing about the military, it's this. They never learn. And Newt goes to get Butler. And when they get to the rehab lab, basically Butler sees them and it's like, they destroyed the others, took what they could salvage. I didn't think you'd come back. Yeah, she's going to come back. She loves him.
She cared.
Half the ships are automated, so they work their way to a particular ship while the military fights off the aliens. Unsuccessfully, of course. And
I don't think they could have been successful.
like I said, this is like it is. They were ill prepared for an infestation situation.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know. They're all looking at like weapons.
Well, they're stupid.
Yeah. So, Newt, Hicks, and Butler get on board a ship, and now they prepare for launch, get off the planet. The aliens have taken it, and the jockey speaks again.
So its whole plan was just to conquer Earth, is what I'm reading on here.
That's the way it seems.
That's the way she took it.
Yeah, might want to help us. Been so blind, shared many of our human emotions, desire to conquest. It no longer cared about the aliens. Interest had shifted. The soldiers assumed they would return one day and terraform Earth for themselves. It would watch. It would be waiting for them. It just wanted me to know. That is very, quote, disturbing when you think about it. And of course, now this ship is headed off somewhere. Yeah. This ship is heading off somewhere with Newt, Hicks, and Butler. But she's not alone anymore. And even in the end, that matters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to affect your life. And, I mean, I thought it was a good it's a good first comic.
Yep. And
I was impressed.
I know what's coming. You don't necessarily know what's coming.
I have no idea what's coming.
And I am not going to spoil that for you.
Good. Because, like I said before we recorded this, like, this got me interested to want to do more.
Yeah. And I'm glad about that because, like I said, these were good reads as novels. They're good reads as graphic novels. I mean, I'm just trying to look up the name that the book had after that. So let me see here. That book, the second book, when it was novelized, it was called Nightmare Asylum. And I think they kept that name for some of the reprintings of book 2. It will not necessarily tell you much about what happens, but yes, we will see more aliens.
Oh, I had no idea that was going to happen. Didn't see that one coming.
I've only spoiled one thing about it for you.
And to be fair, I didn't even remember it until you just reminded me, so.
But that's a good point for it to end on, I think, that second one. But like I said, the story, it'll keep you captivated, definitely.
Oh, I can believe that.
I think it definitely has a different art style than this one.
Oh, yeah, I looked at the next arc, actually, already.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it got my attention.
Yeah.
And it had color, too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, color. Thank you, book.
Well, that's what you get when you get a year later.
Right, and then we should do our normal ranking shelf stacker box. And Rich, why don't you go first?
Oh, this is definitely a shelf story. This is definitely a shelf story. It is so nicely written. It is so nicely well done. It shows what quote, fans can do with canon stuff, and as long as they know it's canon. It shows a lot of... This is where we start getting so much more of our alien lore, like how smart an alien is, and how smart the drone is, how smart the queen is.
Which I had no idea all this was there, so.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, they're planning this, they were planning this out on the fly. I mean, it's like, okay, we send out messages to lure in our prey, see how they handle it, then we spread across, create more hives. Yeah, this place is ours. We have no predators here.
Yeah, humans aren't much predators, so for them.
Yeah. And you?
I'm going to put this in the stack. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we read it. It wasn't the best for me. Again, my complaints are stupid. No color, but this was good to read, and I am looking forward to seeing where this goes later on. So it went from having zero interest to actually having some interest in an Aliens comic. Like, I think that props to you to make me actually care about Aliens comic.
Let's see if we should try and get someone else in it too. I mean, I think Ken could enjoy some of these too.
But we'll see. But I'm glad that I read it. So, but I go in the stack, and I look forward to reading more. And I'm assuming they'll get better as I read farther.
Oh yeah, you will see more things, and you'll find more characters to hate, more characters to love. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I mean, there is one character in the overall extended lore that is really considered a bastard. He sort of falls into that same area as that one guy from Full Metal Alchemist, the one that made the chimeras.
Not sure. I never watched that show, unfortunately, very far on my to-do list.
I'm going to ruin this one for you because it's better going in. I mean, he's like...
Talking about the dog?
Yeah, it merges
I know that part.
Chimera, the dog, and the daughter.
Yeah, I know that.
That's the guy.
Okay, I do know that part, like everybody else. Well, I've seen a little bit of the anime, just very, very little.
Yeah, and even saw I've seen, got reminded of that, like somebody shared the one meme of it, like he's down in hell. And it's like, the devil's
People love to share that meme.
Calls up, he's here. Even the devil doesn't oh, crap.
All right, we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
Rich, where can people find you at?
Oh, you can always find me on my YouTube channel, Rich Kale, where I have various playthroughs going up, and they premiere every day. I've gone through Alien Isolation. I've played the Alien versus Predator games that had come out. Well, I played the one that came out in the 2010s and the one that came out like around 2000. And I have other stuff up there. I also have fic readings up there. Nothing aliens.
Give it time.
No. I do have a fic that I wrote that was related to aliens, but it's like my first fic I ever wrote, and I call it my magnum opus. So I don't put that anywhere.
Okay. All right, and if you enjoyed this episode, there is over 850 other episodes podcast. To hear the rest of our alien content, you will see a link in the show notes. Check out those episodes. We have a few now. We're starting to get some on there. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon of Little Dar. You vote in our Patreon polls. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Currently just 1. Eventually I'll get back to 2 when I get caught up. If you want to, and then if you donate $10 or more, I will plug your YouTube, podcast, whatever it is that you do. So you can see what our numbers are. All that information I have out there for everybody. So check that out. And want to give shout out to those lovely people who do donate. Phoebe Stanton, the Let's Play Princess, on YouTube, on Twitch, and she is also on, check out her podcast on Nerds Broadcast. Check out absolutely the best podcast of Work in Progress with Zach. They're covering the Alien movies currently and Predator movies, so check out that show. And check out Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. He's currently on hiatus, but he'll be back eventually. But check out his show. And shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena and Hell Hasfer. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, wherever you get your podcast. Also, check out our Discord if you want to be on the show. You want to suggest things for the show. Join our Discord. It's free. I'm always happy to take new voices on the show, too. So check all that out. And we'll give a shout out to my son's podcast if you want to, or YouTube if you want to just look at his YouTube channel. He'd greatly appreciate it. You'll see a link at the bottom of the show notes. I don't know how to say it, so just check it out. You'll see a link in the show notes. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. I think it's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, all.